Without a doubt, perhaps, the number 7 is mentioned in the Bible more than any other number. 7 and numbers divisible by it. Even the Lord Himself in the New Testament mentioned the number 7 as a figurative demonstration in one of His instructions, that of how many times we should forgive one who has sinned against us. 70 times 7. In the Old Testament, during the history of Israel, this number of 70 times 7 was used twice. The first one during the building of Solomon's first temple, which was 490 years from the time Israel came out of Egypt. The second time was in Daniel chapter 9 verse 24, when the prophet was praying concerning the desolation of his country in the hands of the Babylonians. An angel of the Lord visited Daniel and said, 70 sevens are decreed for your people and your holy city to finish transgression, to put an end to sin, to atone for wickedness, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. We need not be Bible scholars in order to spot the obvious that the number 7 is associated with the Lord. But as Christians, we are not to associate this with superstition, much less with any form of numerology or magic. However, the book of Ecclesiastes tells us that to everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven, for individuals as well as for nations. Based on the principle of Jubilee outlined in Leviticus chapter 25 verses 8 to 17, the 49th year will be the Jubilee in Israel. The trumpet will be blown throughout the land, and every person shall return to his or her possession and to his or her own family. It will be freedom and restoration to each one's identity, honor, dignity, and inheritance. It will be a great day of rest and liberty in Israel, when debts will be cancelled, slavery will be terminated, land ownership will be restored, families will be reunited, material sufficiency will be provided, right relationships will be re-established, and justice will be administered. Indeed, it will be a great day of celebration. Which fast forwards us to 1521 AD, when Ferdinand Magellan discovered the Philippines. If we were to follow the Jewish method of counting, which appreciates a year at the beginning and not at the end, then 2010 is our 490th year, and thus a Jubilee year. But while the exactly appointed time will remain disputable, what is most important is that, like Christmas, every day should be a day of Jubilee, where each morning we proclaim a day of forgiveness, of repentance, of liberation from bondage and curse, because it is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Let nothing stop you, church. Lift your voice. It's the year of Jubilee.
The days of Elijah, declaring the word of the Lord. And these are the days of your servant Moses, righteousness being restored. And though these are days of great trials, of famine and darkness and sword, still we are the voice in the desert, crying, prepare ye the way the Lord. Behold, he comes, riding on the clouds, shining like the sun. At the trumpet call, so lift your voice, the year of Jubilee. Out of Zion's hill, salvation comes. And these are the days of Ezekiel, the dry bones becoming as flesh. And these are the days of your servant David, rebuilding a temple of praise. And these are the days of the harvest. The fields are winding over, and we are your laborers in your vineyard, declaring the word of the Lord. Behold, he comes, riding on the clouds, shining like the sun. At the trumpet call, so lift your voice. It's the year of Jubilee. Out of Zion's hills,